Welcome back to Stranger Things. Malachi and Mordecai are both out of town, working on digging up some more strange tales to enthrall you with. So for this episode, I'm Monarch, your special guest host. Tonight, we're stepping into a rabbit hole that begins in the most ordinary place imaginable, your elementary school. Maybe you remember the day a teacher quietly pulled a few students out of class. They took strange tests, IQ tests, pattern recognition, memory exercises. A few weeks later, some children disappeared from their normal classrooms for an hour every week. They were told they were gifted. The official explanation has always been simple: the GATE program, Gifted and Talented Education, a way to challenge exceptional students. But according to thousands of people online, that wasn't all it was. Across Reddit, conspiracy forums, TikTok, podcasts, and old internet message boards, former GATE students have begun comparing notes. Many describe unusually vivid dreams, the pink drink, sleep paralysis, paranormal experiences, heightened intuition, an overwhelming feeling they were being watched. Some believe the tests weren't measuring intelligence at all. Some claim they were looking for psychic ability. Others believe the program identified future military recruits, government scientists, or participants in classified projects connected to MKUltra, Stargate, and remote viewing. Is there any evidence? Or is this simply a fascinating example of human pattern recognition? Tonight, we're opening the strange file known simply as the GATE program. Before diving into conspiracy territory, let's establish what actually exists. Gifted education programs began spreading across America during the Cold War. The Soviet Union had launched Sputnik. Suddenly, America feared it was falling behind scientifically. How do you identify the best and brightest of America's youth? The world is not just spelling bees and science fairs, or turning every teacher in schools into CIA assets. Or did they? Schools began searching for students with exceptional intellectual ability. These children often received advanced instruction, enrichment activities, science competitions, and accelerated coursework. Nothing mysterious there. Thousands of schools still operate gifted education programs today. Students usually qualify through IQ testing, teacher recommendations, academic performance, or standardized assessments. Pretty boring, until the internet began asking one very unusual question: what if intelligence wasn't what they were measuring? Around the late 2010s, former gifted students began sharing stories online. At first, the conversations sounded harmless. I was in GATE too. So was I. Then the similarities became stranger. Many described sleep paralysis, lucid dreaming, high anxiety, feeling socially isolated, interest in paranormal subjects, frequent déjà vu, vivid imagination, sensitivity to lights and sounds. Over time, lawsuits started occurring towards these medical labs masquerading as special schools. Payoffs were happening, schools started shuttering, and those kids started remembering. People began comparing stories, patterns appeared, or at least, what looked like patterns. Soon videos titled "The Truth About GATE Kids" were attracting millions of views. The theories multiplied rapidly. What if finding the best and brightest wasn't the goal? What if finding kids with extraordinary abilities became the focus? This is where conspiracy history enters the picture. Most people have heard of MKUltra, the CIA's infamous Cold War mind control research program. Much of it has been declassified. The experiments were real. Drug testing, hypnosis, behavior modification. Some records were intentionally destroyed. That missing information became fertile ground for speculation. Then there was Project Stargate, another genuine government project. This time, scientists and military personnel attempted to investigate something even stranger: remote viewing, the alleged ability to mentally observe distant locations without physically being there. The program ran for years. While official evaluations concluded it failed to provide reliable intelligence, the existence of the project proved something remarkable. Government agencies were at least willing to investigate extraordinary human abilities. That fact alone inspired countless theories. If remote viewing was studied, what else might have been? Could schools have quietly searched for children displaying unusual cognitive traits? No evidence has ever confirmed that idea, but the question refuses to disappear. This is perhaps the heart of the conspiracy. Some believe gifted testing wasn't measuring intelligence, but neurological uniqueness, exceptional memory, pattern recognition, visualization, emotional sensitivity, the ability to think non-linearly, traits that might overlap with creativity, or, depending on who you ask, psychic potential. The theory claims selected children were quietly monitored throughout life. Some supposedly received scholarship opportunities, military recruitment, government employment, scientific careers. Others claim the program identified future intelligence officers. Again, there is no verified evidence supporting these claims. Yet believers point toward the unusually high number of engineers, programmers, scientists, researchers, and defense employees who once participated in gifted education. Of course, that could simply be exactly what gifted education was designed to accomplish. Eventually, the theories expanded. Former GATE students noticed another coincidence. Many seemed fascinated by strange phenomena, tests in lab settings, being monitored by medical equipment and computers, Mandela effects, missing time, weird out-of-body consciousness memories, simulation theory, quantum mechanics, near-death experiences, piloting UFOs with their minds, consciousness research. Some wondered, were gifted children naturally drawn toward mysteries, or had they somehow been encouraged to think differently? Psychologists offer a much simpler explanation. Highly curious people naturally gravitate toward unusual ideas. When thousands of curious people gather online, they reinforce each other's interests. A coincidence begins to feel like a hidden network. The internet has a remarkable ability to transform scattered anecdotes into what appears to be overwhelming evidence. Sometimes, those patterns are meaningful. Sometimes, they are illusions. So, what should we believe? Was GATE simply an educational program created during the Cold War to help exceptional students reach their potential? That's exactly what decades of documented evidence suggests. Or was it quietly collecting data on children with unusual cognitive abilities? There's no credible evidence proving that. Yet history reminds us something important. Governments have conducted secret psychological research before. They have explored extraordinary claims. Some classified programs sounded impossible, until decades later when official documents surfaced. That doesn't prove every conspiracy, but it explains why some people remain skeptical. Perhaps the real mystery isn't the gate program itself. Perhaps it's why so many former participants feel connected by experiences they struggle to explain. Memory is imperfect. Communities create narratives. Curiosity fills empty spaces. And sometimes, those empty spaces become legends. Whether Gate was nothing more than advanced education, or merely the first chapter in a much larger story, is something each listener will have to decide. Because around here, we don't tell you what to believe. We simply open the door, shine a flashlight into the darkness, and see what looks back. If you enjoyed tonight's journey into one of the internet's strangest modern conspiracies, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment or review, and share this episode with someone who remembers getting pulled out of class for special testing. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep looking deeper, and remember, sometimes the strangest things are hiding in places we've stopped thinking about. Good night, and stay strange.